Alright, we're going to use rational numbers on the coordinate plane. And remember that a rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction. So here I have decimals and terminating decimals, and terminating decimals can be written as fractions. So these are rational numbers. So we're going to go left 2 and 5/10 and up 1 and 5/10, or left 2 1/2 up 1 1/2 to find A. So we start at X. We're going to go left 2 1/2 and up 1 1/2. So we're going to be right there in the middle of the box. And that would be A. And for B, we're going to go right 5 1/2, so that's going to be halfway between 5 and 6, and then down 7 1/2. So again, we're going to be right in the middle of the box there. So that's going to be letter B. If we wanted to do one more, let's say we want to go left 7, down 2 1/2. So we're going to go left 7 and then down to 2 1/2. So it's going to be in between the 2 and the 3, and that's where C would be. Alright, so now I have 4 points there, A, B, C, and D, and we need to figure out what their coordinates are. So A, I go left 7, so that's going to be -7, and up 1 1/2. So that's going to be 7, 1 1/2. You can write it as a decimal or a fraction. So I'll do it as a decimal. So 7, -7, oops, forgot my negative, and 1 5/10. So B, we'd go over left 2 1/2. So that's going to be -2 1/2. And then we're going down to -3. For C, we're going right 2 1/2, so that's going to be a +2 1/2. And we're going up to 6, so your y coordinate would be 6. And then for D, we're going right 6, and then we're going down 4 1/2, so that's going to be -4 1/2. Alright, so now we have a rectangle there, and we're going to find each coordinate. And when you're given this, we're not given A, B, C, and D, so it doesn't matter what order the pairs go in. So I'm just going to start in quadrant 1 there. So quadrant 1, the point is at 2 1/2, 5. My next order pair, I'm just going to go counterclockwise. So I'm going to go from quadrant 1 to quadrant 2. So that's at -5 1/2, 5. Then I'm going to go down to quadrant 3. And that's at -5 1/2, -3. And the last one in quadrant 4 is at 2 1/2, -3. So what you'll notice is that each number was used twice. So I had two x values of -5 1/2, I had two y values of -3, I had two y values of 5, and two x values of 2 1/2. Oops, that should be a positive, not a negative. So each number is going to be used twice anytime you have a rectangle. Alright, so we'll do one more. We're finding the ordered pairs, but you'll notice on this graph, each line isn't numbered 1. You'll notice I have 4 lines, or 4 spaces in between the 0 and the 1. That means this is broken down into quarters, so each one is going to be 1/4. So if you look at the first point there in quadrant 1, we'll start in quadrant 1 again. I go to 1 plus 1 more line, so that's going to be 1 1/4 for my x. You can write it as a fraction or a decimal, so 1 25/100. And then I'm going up to 1. So for the second point in quadrant 2 there, I'm going over 2 spaces, so that's 1/4 plus 1/4, would that be a half? So half as a decimal is 5/10. And then I'm going up 1 space, so that would be a quarter. So it would be 1/2, 1/4. So 5/10 and 25/100. And then my third point there in quadrant 4, I'm going over 2. and 2 spaces means a half, because I'm halfway to 1. And then 2 down would be a negative 1/2. Oh, and I just saw a mistake. On the second point, we should have a negative 1/2 for the 5/10. So just make sure when you're looking at a graph, you pay attention to how it's numbered. It won't always be numbered with ones.